Okay, I think I'm ready. I just did the long format interview, and I think I have a flow going. I could be wrong though. I could be a little more confident than what I realized. But so let's get this started. What inspired Rue Street? Where did the idea come from, and what story does it tell? Well, largely, Rue Street was inspired by this burning need to fill a great big void in the product design motif space. And what that void is, it's a total lack of design out there for a feminine representation, a female representation in motif format in a realistic way. There's tons of abstract and cartoony, and me in particular, I don't really care for that. It looks a bit childish. I want something more sophisticated and just feels more mature. And so I think there's a few different reasons for that. I think largely it's because it's a very difficult subject matter to tackle. It is technically a more challenging subject to accurately replicate in a beautiful way. A lot of the things that I see out there, I think there might be attempts at trying to do that, but you can see where they likely just traced over over an image of a woman, but then you can see in the way that they color it that it's still totally flat because they don't understand the contouring and the shading of a woman because they just lack the skill to do so. And so that's where I was just like, I'm going to do something. I'm going to start building designs addressing this issue. And so that is where it first started. But then I've been really, really inspired by a lot of different runway legends. And this specifically, I was taking bits and pieces from the 90s runway glam, specifically Karl Lagerfeld, his style and his use of just opulent, flashy, over the top, the ruffles, the oversized statement jewelry, the chain belts, all of that, just all those super feminine things I'm really, really drawn to. And so that was the inspiration for this. But it wasn't just Carl. It was like, Versace. And I specifically loved Dior's very theatrical 90s runway style. But it's not just like an ode to the 90s or a flashback to the 90s, because these design elements are timeless. They're things that I would wear to this day. The I love dresses, handbags, shoes, and so I'm really designing for and expressing what I love through my illustrations. And so the bone corsets, it's not just like 90s fashion, it's timeless fashion. And well designed, well fitted clothing is timeless. How did you bring this vision to life from your first sketches to the final layered piece? How did I bring them to life? Well, it started out with sketches onto my Bristol board. Well, actually, I'm trying to think how much thumbnailing I did. I always do thumbnails and kind of get a rough perspective of what I want to do. But because I had this girl in my head for so long, I just knew I had to get right to the finished piece, the good paper. And so I just started drawing onto my Bristol board, and I of course use myself as reference because I knew myself best, and I feel as an artist you need to or you should do what you like. I like to draw what I know. It's as simple as that. And so I used a reference of me in a very simple boho skirt with a very simple cami on, and then that left room for me to pull in design elements from my different inspiration and mentors to design a look that was inspired by them. And then so I went straight to marker then after drawing. And I really thought I was going to be using colored pencil because marker is very, very hard. It's very, very harsh. I'm thrilled that I decided to go with the marker because it's so absolute. There's no room for error. If you mess up, it is what it is. It's right there. And so I thought I'd be softening things with colored pencil, but when I was done, I was so thrilled with the results. I realized I did not need colored pencil or any other mediums. I really love mixed media, but I didn't need anything else. So after it was marker, it was scanned in, and then it digitalized into layers so that I can move around and structure in Photoshop. There's a beautiful duality in the artwork. Soft yet strong, delicate yet defiant. What does that tension mean to you? Well, it beautifully expresses me. I'm quite feminine, and I really love to be that soft, girly girl. But at the same time, the fire's still within me. I am strong, and I am defiant and headstrong. So expressing that comes very naturally to me. Like, I love feminine features and feminine qualities and embracing all things girly, yet at the same time commanding attention and being direct and being pronounced and contradictory and contrasty all at the same time. I'm quite comfortable doing both. So it was very easy to illustrate. Behind the scenes, was there a moment in creating Rue St that inspired you? Something unplanned that made it better? Yeah, it was the marker. It was designing and coloring with the marker. It just was so unexpected that I really didn't think that it would end with the marker. I thought I was going to need something else to move it along, and I was happily very wrong. Where do you imagine this collection living? What kind of brands or settings feel right for Rue St? Well, obviously a company like Chanel that I owe a lot of the inspiration to, it'd be really great, but it's for any high-end or luxury brands that are looking to add some very sophisticated elements, very feminine and surrealistic womanly elements into a collection of products. I feel this fitting in so many places. Really, like, this mask would be beautiful on a handbag or a tote or Neverfull, and then with this ditzy half drop fleur-de-lis behind it, like on black leather. So many things on black leather are just stunning. I could see this illustrative piece itself as, of course, wall art, or there's so many other things where you need an illustrative piece to be like this stamped effect half drop pattern beautifully on any type of fabric or soft goods. And tell me what product you're thinking about, and I'll make it work. Really. What do you hope people feel when they see this collection for the first time? I hope when they see this, it inspires them to set a date night and go purchase or find a fabulous gown in their closet and go dress up and have a beautiful night out dancing. That's what I hope it inspires. Rue St, while the name isn't maybe completely obvious what it's about, it really is an ode to fashion and couture. I was originally thinking of making the collection to be named To Carl with Love, but I felt like that was a little too direct and maybe not quite appropriate, while a lot of his design elements are incorporated into this with the ruffles and the chain belts and the fabric covered buttons that are floor length with the skirts and the statement jewelry and everything. I wanted it to live in just the general couture space, and so Rue St was really appropriate because that is the name of the street that his atelier is on. So it's kind of like, if you know, you know, kind of statement. So I think with this collection here, it has inspired me most especially to keep filling that space for the female motif that the product world is lacking. I am here to fill it. I am going to continue building upon this because I had such a good time with it.